Please fasten driver seat belt.
Dre, Big H, E340C.
Yo.
That was a vibe.
Like that?
That's all cool, right?
You
like
got to set it up. My peoples, what's up? It's your boys. We back. Silverback Chronicles podcast. It's your boy Big H. I got my brother Dre.
Yo, que lo que?
What's good?
Hanging and banging.
Everything good?
Life is amazing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Grinding hard every day.
That's it. Triple C.
Yo.
What's good, baby?
Maintaining the chilling, bro.
All day, every day. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a queen in the building tonight. You just heard her voice.
No, y'all are just full of vibes over here, like chilling.
I bet you they don't know who it is.
It's a vibe over here. We trying to tell you.
Nah, I love it.
She's here.
I am here. What's up,
Word.
everybody?
Okay, the red carpet is out. The queen is in the building.
Oh, bells
See
and
that?
whistles,
You
bombs,
see that?
explosions.
All right, listen, before we go ham,
Uh-huh.
let's get into our sponsors real quick.
Okay.
All right, my peoples, don't forget about number one law firm in the state of Maryland, Berman and Darby. Shout out to my brother Charlie Schultz. He can be reached at 410-769-5400. That's 410-769-5400. You get injured at work, personal injury, he's the plug. You call him, he take care of you automatically. Don't forget about Stopbox USA, discount code, all caps, Silverback Podcast, all caps, Silverback Podcast. Get you 20% off your next purchase. Courtesy of your boys in blue. We appreciate you. What else, Dre? If you want to buy something sexy, a nice t-shirt, a nice polo, where the hell can they go buy it?
SilverbackChronicles.com. Yo, can you hear me? There we go. Now we go.
we good.
We're here now.
Absolutely.
SilverbackChronicles.com. Yo, the hats already sold out.
Already.
We put our hats. We scattered it too. Like we did one drop Monday, one Wednesday, and one Friday. All sold out.
Come on.
I think there's one left over. You better swipe it before.
You know, we got a small boutique. You know, we like to call it a sexy boutique. Right.
For that off-duty apparel.
How about that?
You know what I mean?
Not even though you-
So that people who ain't coming up to you, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
How can I borrow your gun? Cause somebody cut me off today. What?
Take it easy. Smile.
Now you can wear a t-shirt, nobody gonna ask you nothing. You just
good.
look cool. Anyway,
Anywho.
I hate that question, that's why. It really
Yeah.
bothers me.
But ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, we got a queen in the building.
But break it down.
She's a beast.
Okay. How?
She's an entrepreneur,
Okay.
radio personality,
Uh-huh.
by one of the baddest radio stations in the state of Maryland, in the country.
Yeah, they get a lot of spins.
Absolutely. Fire. She's got a book.
Right, so she writes.
She writes. Her penmanship is impeccable. And not only that, she's drop dead gorgeous. She's a black African-American woman. Hello.
Come on. Is it me y'all looking for?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, Miss Raven Paris is in the building.
Yes.
Yes.
That was such a fun, great intro. That was awesome.
Thank you for showing up.
No, thanks for
Yeah, we
having me.
appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
No, the first time I should have been here a while ago, but power went out.
I
It
heard
got
about
real
that.
crazy. So
Right.
thanks for still wanting me to come and join y'all.
No, of course.
We understand
That's a
things
given.
happen, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Word.
So, Miss Paris, listen, for those of people that don't know,
Yeah.
please tell the world where you're from, born and raised.
Born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I've been blessed to be able to live in New York though for some work stuff.
What part?
I had family in Long Island, New York on my dad's
That's
side.
what I'm talking about.
Long Island?
I'm from Long Island.
Period.
You already?
That's right.
Right.
So I lived out there when I was working with TMZ and then, back and forth with my dad. So lived there for a little bit and then also, just Baltimore
Nice.
all day.
All right. Well, you know.
I can tell in y'all voice. Where are you from?
I'm from New York too.
I
from the
knew
Bronx.
it. I knew it.
Yeah, New Yorkers.
Okay.
Yeah, we New Yorkers.
Triple C's from here though.
How y'all end up here?
The job.
The job that brought us down here.
Okay.
Because NYPD was taking too long. Like NYPD, it's like 4 years of you being on the list, of you getting all your paperwork
Waiting
done.
to get in.
What? Yes.
Oh yeah.
It takes forever. Because you take the written exam, then you have a list number. Within that list number, that's when they actually call you. And when they call you, you got to have everything done. Your investigator, your background check, your psych evaluate, everything has to be done once they call you.
I honestly think I'd rather y'all be here because I hear NYPDs are some big bullies.
Bullies, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the first time
That's
I've
the
heard
first,
that.
yeah.
I hear they be bullying.
Like in what sense?
In the sense of they be bullying the
citizens?
Yeah, the citizens.
I mean, you dealt with
Abusing
New
their
Yorkers,
authority.
right?
Yeah. I know New Yorkers
Dealing
can be
with
a
New
little
Yorkers-
aggressive.
A little. I mean, those guys, they got to deal with a special type of
Personnel.
population. Whereas here, it's different from up there.
Yeah. Okay.
But the mentality is different. The swag is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's totally different from New York to Baltimore. But I love Baltimore. Like, we love it. Like, we lifers. We ain't going nowhere.
This t-shirt is a Baltimore t-shirt.
Hardest city.
Hardest city by the sea,
with oil,
period.
you know
And
what
we
I'm
have the
saying?
best crabs and seafood. You better know it.
Talk about it.
That's it.
That's it.
Talk about it.
I love New York though. I feel like when I had went to so I ended up going to New York up there for the Wien Academy. The Wien Academy stands for Women Entertainment Empowerment Network. So they closed it as of this year, but it's owned by like Felicia Butterfield, Sabrina, like a lot of dope women in the industry, Lauren Lakes. And I had went out there out of like 300 girls. They ended up choosing 20 of us.
Wow.
I had to stand in this long line out there. I felt like I was definitely going through some type of hazing situation, but I end up making it. I ended up making it, and after being out there for that month, like we got to go to different organizations like BT and just a lot of different networks. I'm like, I am moving out here because it's just so fast, and I feel like everyone out there is on some type of dream chase. You're trying to get to something. Everyone's out there hustling. Everything is fast. I love the trains.
Right.
So within we graduated that August. By that October, I was out there working for the TMZ. So I feel like New York got a different type of hustle.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta be fast with it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
So fast out
New
there.
York minute.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. Wow.
So what'd you do for TMZ, my fault?
Yeah, you go.
I was a paparazzi, but the correct term is field producer. So how TMZ get all that content, majority of their content are from the field producers. So you have to be out in the streets, aka paparazzi. You have to build your own networks. You have to realize, you have to build relationships. I had relationships with other paparazzis. I had a relationship with janitors, hotel managers, restaurant owners, literally everybody you got to become friends with. And you find out when someone is going to be in town, where they're going to be staying at, they're your tips, and you basically create your stories.
It's all in the shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
All in the shots, and basically also what is happening right now currently. So like every day, my job was to study that website up and down, every different, from entertainment to sports to politics, everything that was going on. So I know exactly what I should be asking the celebrity when I see them to make sure that it connects with what's current.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that was your passion?
I
For
wouldn't.
that time?
No. I felt like it created a different beast out of me that I need. For one, I feel like I need to be isolated. I needed to be in a different environment outside of my comfort zone, outside of Baltimore, right? So it forced me to be alone. It forced me to master another job that I totally had no experience in. I'm used to interviewing people and they know I'm going to interview and talk to them, not pop up in their face with a camera and I have 5 seconds to really get your reaction and get an answer out of you and pray you answer my question. Okay. So I felt like and also it forced me to become a better journalist. I don't really care about sports. I don't really care about politics. I didn't really care about none of that, but I had to know it for my job. So I just feel like I needed it at that moment for where I was at in my life and my journey, just to, become like a better person overall, but I was not passionate about it, which is why I optioned out.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
But it's tough because you gotta earn that instant rapport for them to even like you.
Right.
But the fact that I was a African American and I was a woman, as a paparazzi, those are my two advantages. And it was cool because a lot of people who do not speak with TMZ normally, such as like Tyler Perry's or Oprah's, I actually got to get interviews with them due to those reasons. So I feel like it had its moments where though people don't like TMZ, so they don't speak with them. But since I look like them and they saw something in me, it allowed them to want to stop and talk to me.
That's dope.
So most paparazzis are males?
Yeah.
Really?
You don't really see no women out there.
That's a male-dominated industry, huh?
It's a male-dominated
Could you do
industry.
that? Like,
Me?
yeah, like
I think I would be intimidated, though.
It's so many people out there. Like, I didn't realize how big the paparazzi world is because think about it. Some people sell their footage and stuff to media companies.
Right.
So that's their job every single day. They eat, sleep, think, breathe. Where their celebrity, where that next celebrity is going to be at. And they're out there early. Like, or some people legit just fans and they following this person wherever they go. So they're out there early. So you have to be out there competing with all of those people. You don't see many women out there. It's an aggressive field for sure. And it's cold in New York. You know it's cold. I was out there with 10 degree weather out there for 12 hours.
That's
3
great.
pair of pant leggings.
triple fat goose.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
Layers out there for hours. Okay.
You probably had a French toast coat.
Well, it's probably had some butters on too.
I definitely had my butters on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Butters.
So what led you back to Baltimore?
So
What was the switch?
the switch was once my time ended with TMZ, I did not plan on moving back here, be clear. But when I came back home to check in with 92Q, let them know like, hey, I'm back. I would like to pick up some hours. I ended up getting 5 days a week overnights. So due to work picking up at home, that kind of forced me to come back home. And that's how I ended up here.
And how was your experience working with 92Q? That's huge.
Yeah.
By the way.
It's definitely, I feel like when I first got the job, I was so excited because to go from like listening to this station, like that's my hometown station. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up listening to it.
Right.
And I also had a family member that worked for them at the time as well, like when I was younger. So I used to watch Jay Clarkson go to the radio station all the time. So to see him go there, shout out to Jay.
That's my guy.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So to see him as I was a young buck, and then I end up becoming a grown up and end up, in the same network with him, it was like, I'm here. I have arrived. And it just felt so good to now become a part of this thing that I grew up listening to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you was the radio personality for them.
Mm-hmm.
So was it natural for you to fit into that position?
No. Well, yes and
what did you have to do to like really get adjusted to it? Like you did in New York?
Yeah.
Something different.
So I started out in the industry in 2015 by having an internet radio show, right? It was called Love the Culture Radio. I did that on WPB Networks. It was an internet radio station owned by Frank Johnson. And on internet radio, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. You can play what you want. You have free will in the studio. Your friends and family can come kick it with you. You kind of have free will to do what you want. It's your show. But when you go over to FM, it's a lot of politics. So it's certain things you can say, you can't say, certain music you can play, you can't play. All your folks can't come in the studio with you. You got to know how to work the boards. It's different.
It's more structure.
It's more structure. So you have to be able to know how to do certain things before you can get on air. You can't just instantly, I got hired as a radio personality, I'm going to hop on air tomorrow. Nah. You need to train. You need to know how to do the boards. You need to know how to work Vox Pro. You need to know how to answer the phones. You need to know how to produce your show. It's a lot that you actually have to know how to do before just getting on air and talking. So it was a process for sure. I feel like everything that you do, you're going to probably end up being hazed. If it's like a big network or a big job, So I feel like I definitely had to take my time. I had to slowly get my way up there before I was allowed to get on air. And then once I was on air, it's cool because like I have all my friends and my family who was happy to hear me. You can get in your car, you can listen to me. So it was a good experience for sure. I'm technically still hired by 92Q as well. I just had stepped back and I was on like the social media side, the website side. COVID happened and like they more so had like the full timers on there.
Dope.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
So what's life like for you now? What kind of lane are you in that you want to give the world? What's going on in Miss Raven Paris's life now?
I feel like now, well, over the years, I feel like each year I just become more intentional. I become more, I tap more into like, what am I really passionate about? And more so like, what is it that God really wants me to do? I'm a Jesus lover and I feel like I just want to make sure that I'm pleasing him and I'm living in purpose and I'm not wasting my time while I'm here.
Amen.
Right? Amen.
You know, it's important.
It's so important.
Absolutely.
Probably the most important thing.
It's so important. Like, what are you doing it for? And I feel like starting out, I felt like, well, growing up, I used to watch like 106 in Park. I used to watch TRL.
Yes.
Like, so those were always the goals, right? TV was always the goal, not radio. But I felt like radio was a stepping stone to help me get closer to my goal. But I also felt like in order for me to influence, I needed to be on radio, get my voice heard. But now I realize I don't need radio necessarily to get my voice heard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've still been able to accomplish so much just by me being intentional, using my platforms the right way and being intentional. It always just boils down to that, right? So I've learned the power of utilizing social media and doing things that I enjoy doing, stuff that's going to actually help other people. So now I've transitioned over to just helping my entrepreneurs, being the example that I wish I had when I started as an entrepreneur at 23 years old, when I was graduating from Morgan State and I was working at Sprint, I was working down Unica, down Mondawmin, pivoting over to, becoming an entrepreneur, starting an internet radio show, because that was my first business. That was my first LLC. That was the first thing that I actually invested into. So I would say this pandemic was a blessing for me because it allowed me to really rest, figure out what's really important for me, figure out what means a lot to me. What do I really get joy out of doing? And that's helping other people. So I became an author. As you guys mentioned before, the Game Changer Startup Kit to Become or Sustain Entrepreneurship. So I started that. Well, I launched that in August of 2020. Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing.
So dope.
So why the Game Changer?
The Game Changer.
What is the book about? What inspired you to do that?
The Game Changer is changing the game because I feel like I said, starting a business, it's no one actually holds your hand through this. You're searching Google, you asking your friends, you asking your family, you just putting pieces together and figuring it out trial and error. So I wanted to create a game changer that is going to give you a guide that's going to take you from step A to the very last step. But I feel like a lot of times we think step A is just starting the business. Well, step A is developing yourself. What are you passionate about, right?
That is a big part.
That's a big part.
What's your why?
What's your why? What are you insecure about? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Because a lot of times that play a huge role because nothing that you start is something that's new. Everything is someone has done it before. It's a saturated market. So how are you going to stand out, right? And you stand out by knowing what those things are about yourself. So I start the book with some self-reflection. And then we go into building the brand. Then we go into what's your entity going to be. Then we go into more so like how you're going to market it. Marketing material. We talk about social media, but we also talk about the grassroots. What did they use? They had flyers. They had brochures. They had business cards. Just like, make sure we print those things out, banners and those type of things. Then we go into business plan. Is your business idea even going to be feasible? Should you even turn this into a business? So I have all of these things inside the Game Changer Startup Kit to become or sustain entrepreneurship. And then on top of that, to top it off, I have over 50 Black-owned businesses that are also referenced throughout the book. So if you need someone to create you a logo, if you need someone to create you a website, if you need someone to style your hair, or you want some good food you want to eat, or like a little bit of everything is literally inside the Game Changer. So
wow. Resources is everything.
Yeah, resources is everything. And that's kind of like how I developed that. So the goal of the Game Changer is to get that into schools, get that into bookstores, get that all on Amazon, eBay, you know, all those type of platforms, but more so have it be taught inside schools because entrepreneurship is very important.
It is.
That Black dollar being spent in the Black community is very important. So that kind of helped me focus on that. And during the pandemic, before I actually got the book out, I was doing virtual classes. So I did a class that was teaching them about social media, just different stuff regarding that. Or I did a class more so about just like developing your brand, because some people just don't even know how to like develop a brand that's actually going to help them make some money. Or how do you convert social media followers into customers? So I was doing different classes, taking chapters out of my book before people even knew I was doing a book. And once I realized that it was working due to like the reviews and stuff they were leaving, it was like, okay, bet, right. It's working. So now I was able to get to a space where I was able to release it. And along with me having the book out there, I offer like one-on-one consulting services that I have for my clients, and they use the book as a guide, but also we like tap into other things that they're working on as well. And I moved into like social media managing, just all the skills that I learned how to do for myself. I turned them into services. So that's more so what I do now. I help brands and businesses connect with their target audience, basically, to, you know, generate more sales off of different strategies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super dope.
I like doing that. It's
That was
totally
dope.
different.
That was dope.
That's awesome.
Buy that book today. We just
Wow.
talking
People need to know about that
And
book.
where can people find that book at? Where can we purchase it?
You could purchase it on theravenparis.com. It is on there on my website.
What's your IG?
It's Raven_Paris.
There
My
it is.
Twitter is Raven_Paris_. My Facebook is Raven Paris.
And the book is on all of those platforms.
Yeah, it's on
Utilize
everything.
them.
Yeah, utilize it.
Absolutely.
So the girl do it all.
That's what I'm talking about. Don't get no better.
No, it's on top of that too, because I feel like when I went back on a topic of more so like I felt like radio was the only way I could get my voice out there. I'm now an educator. I was over the summer, I was teaching. Shout out to the YES program. I had a bunch of students who are in high school who already had brands and businesses, but I had to really teach them the ins and outs of developing a business to prepare them for a competition where they was able to win $3,000, $1,500, $500 for their businesses. So I was able to be an educator. And then on top of that, you know, I do events. And on top of that as well, y'all know I did radio,
Of
but
course.
I just do a little bit of everything.
You gonna get into inspirational speaking?
That's the goal. I feel like that's what I started doing when I was just on the morning show. Shout out to the Morning Source with Jay Hill and TK. We're all now doing our own thing, but TK is still on air right now, so y'all can still listen to 1500 Radio to listen to her.
Shout out.
6 a.m. to 10 a.m. But when I was on there, I did a segment called She's Gamed with Raven Paris. So every day I drop tokens. I feel like when you're playing games and when you're winning, you win tokens. So every day I dropped a different token. And I feel like that was allowing me to just bring out that motivational part, because I'm also like back history. I'm a social work graduate from Morgan State.
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't go to school for none of this. So I feel like,
I went for sociology.
yeah.
And look what I'm doing.
But I feel like it's important that we know how to connect with people mentally, though, because in order for us to really make sure we get our jobs done smoothly, we have to be able to meet them where they are.
Absolutely.
So that's where I, so I like to drop tokens every now and then. I just do that on my social media or whenever I'm booked to, speak or teach.
How does it feel when you go back and you help out with the youth?
It feels rewarding. Even I made sure we did that with 92Q when we used to pop up at schools when schools first started, and we brought like different celebrities and stuff. I made sure my middle school was on there because I feel like I didn't have that. And I say, as whoever, like whatever you decide to do, be the example you wish you had. And every day I feel like that's what I work towards being and doing. So for the youth, I didn't have no mentor. I still don't have a mentor, but I didn't have someone who I can ask questions to, or someone who looked like me be in like a higher position, or someone who we just watched TV or heard radio, but it didn't seem touchable, right? So it's just like, I feel like by me being that example and being someone that's accessible for the youth, it makes me feel like I'm living life that's worth something and that's helping impact and change things. So it feels really rewarding.
It's a game changer because, like you said, like coming from, we all come from the inner city.
Yeah.
And, children, I never saw it like that growing up. So when you can actually do that and have the youth looking, you can look in their eyes.
I was right here where you are right now.
And you can look, and they look at you and they feel the realness.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just reaches different levels in life, man.
It hits different.
And it does hit different. And I know they appreciate that. It goes a long way.
So now by me, so shout out to John Hopkins, the You Choose program. I am social media manager. So I do a lot of like their strategies and stuff for their content. And I now have to work with the Yak members. So it's like the youth. So they create, it's like basically You Choose is by young people, for people by young people. So when I finally got to meet some of like the Yak members and they was introducing me and he was like, he wrote in the chat like, oh my gosh, someone who I inspire to, and look up to, I'm following. And she's like, wait, you already know Mrs. RP? And he's like, yes. I just was like, oh, that made me so like, that made me smile because it's just like, you don't know who you're impacting. Right. You don't know who is watching you, who is looking up to you. And the fact that this young member who I'm going to be working with to create social media content with, he's already like inspired by me. It's just like, wow.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
There's no better feeling.
Yeah. That was just last Thursday. I was like, oh.
So Raven, where you from? East side or west side? I gotta ask you.
I would say okay, let's be clear. I'm a county girl, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
But I have not always lived in the county. I used to live on Cold Spring, but like even when I lived on Cold Spring with my mom made sure that I was always in county school. So every morning she woke me up bright and early to drop me off to my grandma's house to make sure I was in that county school. So I feel like my mom made sure that we always had somewhere to live.
You was at Cold Spring and what?
I was on 815 East Cold Spring Lane, right there by, not too far from Morgan.
Oh, you northeast?
That's the northeast.
That's northeast.
Right over there for a couple years. But even over there, it's like I didn't play outside and stuff. So it's like I lived in the hood, but
Mom didn't want you seeing none of it.
Nah, every morning she woke me up.
Shout out to Mom.
And dropped me off at my grandmother's house.
Let's go.
That's a huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. That's dope.
Don't be telling on your mom either. She's like, cause she got me off in the bus. I'm like, them county schools like, oh, for real. So that's what they doing. Like,
my grandma address, I knew it like the back of my hand. She made sure I knew it. It was on all the back of my
county schools will
books.
pull you up.
It was on everything.
Got to.
No, they will come to the class like, where you live at again? Where grandma live? Like back, you know what I mean? They
you mess up that address, it's over,
It's
Jack.
a wrap.
No,
out of that county school. And by Friday, you back to the city. It was not playing.
At all. But yeah, so like all my friends and stuff, they're all county. But my dad, he a hood rat. So he made sure I'm
keep your roots.
I'm good in the county. Yeah, he made sure I was balanced for sure.
No, that's dope.
Yeah.
So this platform we established is the bridge the gap between the community and police. And I'm curious on your insight. Have you dealt with law enforcement from your lens? What do you see about it?
From my lens, so it's like my stepdad, he was a state trooper. My aunt, she still work in the police department. She actually work in the jails. And then I have like a close friend, her mom is an officer. So it's like close up, I've been around some great representation of officers.
Right.
Even down to like my uncle, he's a K-9 officer. But I feel like over the years, me and him was just talking about this not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. He was in DC area and he's like stepped back now. He's happier to be like chilling, not actually on the streets because it's getting rough out there in the streets. I feel like it's getting rough for the civilians, citizens. It also is getting rough for the law enforcement as well. So from what I see on my lens on the media, we just see a lot of police brutality. And from when me and him was talking, we see a lot of officers that are being placed in certain environments that they're scared of, that they aren't really trained to be in. So they're not really acting from from like an officer standpoint. It's more so like a survival of the fittest kind of thing. So it's not really helping the community as a whole. I just see a bunch of people who are scared of each other. So I see a lot of stuff that's not really helping one another, helping the community. And it's also like now a lot of kids that are scared of officers. I feel like growing up, you wanted, me, like something happened, you called 911. You know what I'm saying? But it's now so many kids that are scared of 911, scared of the police. So it's rough.
Yeah.
That's a great
So that's what I see
10-foot
from
lens.
like, my lens. Like I grew up with the good, but like it's definitely changed.
Yeah. I don't know, the climate of policing, it definitely has changed with the personnel out there, because on certain points it's gotten to a point that people need jobs.
Yeah.
And you can't just take police work as a job, because you come on think you're just going to collect a check. It's not going to work out too fast for you.
Or it get passed down like my dad or my uncle, my grandfather was police officer, so now I got to be a police officer. But you ain't built like that,
Right?
so it's just like,
That's a good point.
what you doing?
Right. Don't do it just because it's in the bloodline.
Yeah.
This job will expose you.
It exposes you.
Yes.
You're not.
And you'll become a liability immediately. And that's not a good thing at all.
And then also what me and my uncle was talking about too is I feel like he like back then it used to be like longer trainings before they actually put you out into the field. But now in certain areas or certain communities, they just throwing officers out there. And I feel like that's creating a problem too, because it's just like if you aren't really like training with someone for as long as you should, you're not going to be out there in these streets following the right protocol. You're going to be following based on your safety and make sure that you don't die or get hurt out in the streets.
Like me speaking as an individual, and I step back and I look at this, it's the whole system is broken.
Yes.
Because you gave an example of just throwing, a recruitment class out there. But the reason why they get thrown out there is because they didn't recruit. See what I'm saying? So it's like we have to push these people.
Because we kind of like...
We got 75 retiring, 20 on, medical, and I got 10 guys that I need to push out
So we're like short-staffed.
Short staff.
Yeah.
It's
That
a
makes
lot.
sense.
The whole thing is, you know what I mean?
Broken.
Yeah.
What made y'all want to be officers?
I mean, it's still the best job in the world.
I love it. To be honest with you, you know what? My thing was I played football since I was 7. So, the dreams and inspirations of going to the league and all that was fun. But, I always say my coach in college, Coach Cornhouse, as my man, Stony Brook, he always said, my job is to prepare you to be a professional in life. The NFL, 9 out of 10 people is not going to make it at the NFL.
Facts.
It's a different level. Then you add, agents and everything like that. And it's just a lot, and the biggest thing is being prepared for life, being a professional in life. What are you going to do besides football? And I've always had a passion for police work. I've always did. I've always loved it. I saw the good and the bad side of policing growing up.
Yeah.
I saw the racist side. I saw the side that they just want to be a bully because they got a badge. I don't like bullies to begin with. So that I see a punk motherfucker that got a badge, and you just want to abuse your authority
because you got the badge.
Right. And you're a pussy.
See me without the badge.
Come on, right.
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw that, I said, no, you not like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what inspired me to that what made me want to do the job even more. Because I said, you know what? That's a bad representation of that department. It's not the department, it's that individual making an individual choice. Being a bad agent of his department. But you are a reflection of your department. So people are going to take it as face value, which they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be the protector. And look how you coming off. You got different agendas. And that's a problem too. It's a lot of people that come on the job with different agendas.
Yeah.
And not the agenda with the department. So that's what made me want to join it. And, ever since I've been here in Baltimore, I love it. Like, we all had the opportunity to go to the counties. We're just not county police.
Yeah.
I'm a city guy.
You like the city.
I love it.
For me, what led me down this profession, similar to what he said, like the whole bully aspect, I hate seeing grandma getting robbed or, pop got pushed down the stairs. So that, and also coming from like a corporate background, I decided, I was like, I cannot work indoors anymore. I don't want to do cubicles. And then also like
I need
growing
to
up,
be outside.
I gotta be outside. Like we used to sit in the cars. It don't matter. It's 100 degrees or in the middle of a blizzard. It's like, yo, this is great out here.
Word.
Like, this is fun. You know what I'm saying?
It was natural for us to, to get out and talk to the community.
Yeah.
The community loved us. Not for nothing, the gangsters loved us. Because they knew what we stood for.
Yeah.
They knew, what kind of game it was. It's a cat and mouse game. Of course, the ringleader, you're not going to find him dirty, obviously. He got workers. You know what I mean? That honor him. So, and they respected us just like we respected them.
Yeah.
And we had men conversations.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
have
what
to do
my
with the
uncle said.
badge.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, what's up? This is me. I'm going to be here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be here for about a good 8 to 16 hours. So you're going to know me very well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when you look a person in their eyes and they feel the realness out of you, the conversation go different. And there's a mutual respect there. The way it should be. There's no shit talking. There's need to shit talk. You're going to have a man conversation. Two grown men talking.
That mutual respect he's talking about is crazy because it's not even portrayed in the news. Because any hood we go to, like, they understand us, we understand them. It ain't this nonsense that you see on the news. That's an argument that you just happen to capture.
Yeah.
You know how many shifts we worked and we have zero arguments with people, and we're in the middle of it.
You're on the trenches.
Exactly. Like, and people, they understand that we got a job to do, and we understand that whatever it is that they're doing, that's what it is. And the hood will always tell you, like, if you're a good post officer, right, and something happens, and to them it ain't snitching. It's about, I respect this officer, and he's actually helping my community. So in return, I'm gonna throw him a bone so this could be squared away.
Yeah.
That happens more than you think.
Yeah.
It's not snitching.
Yeah.
It's a person that cares about their community.
And you know what the real ones say? When they see us, black and brown men out there, hey, yo, I know you. I'm glad you're doing this on this job. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm proud of you. And that's real shit.
No, that's facts. I think that we need more examples of y'all, because you didn't also have the black officers who are Oreos. Y'all know what I mean by the Oreo. So it's just like y'all not really protecting the community or having that respect value that y'all are doing. So when it comes down to coming across those individuals, because y'all have to work with all different kind of people, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you now get into a space of holding your colleagues accountable for when you do see fuck shit? Because it happens. And I feel like that is one of the reasons why, my stepdad got out of being a state trooper, et cetera. So it's just like, when y'all do come across those, how do you hold your colleagues accountable? How do you stay away from them? Or like, how do y'all handle those type of situations?
It depends,
The best thing about us is that I was an instructor in the academy. So I taught a majority of the officers that came onto the street. I was an instructor up until like 2 years ago. I'm in a specialized unit now.
Okay.
But how I am, everybody knows me.
What you stand for.
What I stand for as a man. So the bullshit not gonna rock with me. Even when I wasn't an instructor, we was in the streets. We operate differently. So the fuck shit, you can't bring that over here. 9 times out of 10, we not gonna see it because I'm not afraid to approach that. You know what I'm saying? When you are alpha and you really stand for what you stand for, motherfuckers ain't gonna bring that to you.
That's true.
They not gonna let you see none of that because you gonna call them on it, and they gonna feel a certain kind of way, but it don't matter because what you gonna do?
Nothing.
Exactly. You can talk your shit over there when I'm not here, but a lot of times they ain't gonna bring it to you, and if they do, it is what it is. Who's wrong? Why? Because you got emotional attached to that person at that call? You want to have an argument? Why? Are you there to have an argument? Or are you there to stop the violence? Are you there to stop that situation from escalating up higher? You're there to bridge that gap so that person can understand that he was wrong, and you build that rapport by letting him know professionally, bro, this is what you did. You know you can't do that. And every incident doesn't have to lead to an arrest. It leads to you building with that person so that they can understand, and the people around them can be like, yo, that's a real dude.
Yeah, educate. Yeah.
That's what it's about. 95% of this job is talking. That's it. The 5% is when you have to go hands on. That's when there's no other alternative.
Yeah.
And but see, every officer has a different temperament.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's a lot that goes with that. It takes a lot for me to get fired up.
Yeah.
And I'll never get fired up because this is business. You should never let nobody take you out of your comfort zone at all, especially with words. Why? I'm a wizard with that shit. I love it. But it's all about building that rapport and conversing with somebody. Bringing them from up here down to a 5. Let's talk. Relax. I'm not here for that.
It's not that
Let's talk.
serious.
Take it easy.
But also, like the team that we had, we were all silverbacks. We were all
we was all
type A
accountable for each other.
So it's like we would check each other with no problem and hug each other right after that. It's it's like what you said. It's the fuck shit. Like when your man checks you and you get upset at him.
Yeah.
And then now, like he's looking out for you, but you want to be, and then that's how the problems happen. Yeah, absolutely.
And
you're supposed to always check your man if you love him like that. Like your fam.
After the George Floyd situation, we had a podcast, and that was probably one of the deepest ones with everything that was going on. And one of the things that I love that they were saying was taking it from a different perspective. It wasn't the guy that was putting the knee on him; it was everybody else around him.
Yeah.
What would they do in that situation? And everybody that has come through was like, "Oh, they'd have ripped me, they'd have pulled me off, and they'd have been scrapping with me, man or female, because it was wrong, and blah blah blah." But not only did you just save that guy and his possible career, you just saved somebody's life. You see what I'm saying? People, you got to be strong enough to do that, because that guy that was there was their field training officer. So what was he training them? And then you got to be strong enough to realize if you pull him off, now you may lose your job. Because there was a sister up in Massachusetts that we talked about as well, who made that decision and lost her job as a police officer because she did the right thing. But I mean, finally she got paid for it, but she wanted to be good police. Yeah,
that's the thing. Did y'all watch the Meek Mill documentary? Y'all should watch it.
No, I saw his interview, but it's a documentary.
Watch it.
Really?
What's the name of it?
It's called Free Meek Mill. That's what him and Jay-Z and Tidal and them was basically like to talk about how he was on probation for 10 plus years.
I think we did see
due to the judge that was
we did see that
obsessed with him and just was crazy with the power control crazy.
I think he just got off probation.
Yeah, just got off literally.
What was he on probation for?
If you remember, he was basically involved in a house raid, but he wasn't. But when it found out, when he was a youngin', right?
In Philly, who was a group of them who was basically going and stealing the dealers. Whoever, they knew who was doing stuff in the neighborhoods, and they were setting people up in order to create these house raids where they were stealing thousands and thousands of dollars, drugs, etc., whatever. And during that time, they was able to put this fake case together that got Meek Mill originally, locked up. Locked up and then charged. He had like 10 plus charges against him. Mind you, he was a minor. It was a lot.
Got charged
and they did not have evidence to really put this case together. And after a year or two ago, they finally went back to the very beginning, because as years went on, as he's becoming a celebrity, this probation is still hindering his career.
Traveling and stuff like
it's
that. Right?
Traveling.
It got to the point where, bro, the case got dropped. It was an officer that was in Florida that was retired, pulled him up. Federal government pulled him up. Nah, son. This case was ding ding, blah, blah, blah. Dude got in trouble. They dropped the charges against me. So how are you on probation for something that the charges were dropped? The judge was
they end up giving him jail time for that. The
judge was still you're still on probation.
And it was the same judge from when he was a teenager up until that. It was crazy. So that's why I asked that, because it's you have these gang of officers who was seeing what was going on, but they wouldn't speak up on it. They knew that these officers was going and stealing and doing God knows what else, but they didn't speak up until later now. So that kind of would help Meek Mill case, because some of those officers I didn't work with him all the time, but I do know, or I did hear that, they was doing X, Y, Z, or I did see they came back and he spoke on how he was able to get this innocent guy, all these charges, etc. So that just made me think about that, just holding y'all colleagues accountable, because, you do have the ones who are out for their own agendas. You mentioned agendas earlier.
I think it's few alphas out there as far as officers that do the right thing. And I thank God that I can just talk to the newcomers that come out and be the example, which is why this platform was established. Like, this came out long before all these brutal incidents took place. You know? And this is paramount in policing. It's got nothing to do with the department. This is us. But what we do for a profession is paramount in people knowing that there's great officers out there. And boy, if everybody can get on the same page and just ride this out, you don't know how much change there would be.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And getting the right people to come do the right job, and getting the public to understand. To us, getting out there, dealing with these people, and let the children, for crying out loud. We got to be a great example, for the babies, so that they could know, and that they could be okay with. I want to be an officer. I want to be like, I miss that, and that's that is paramount in our success moving forward.
The community also has to step up, and when a crime happens,
say that again.
They have to, when it happens, they're there. We're not. We're just coming to help. So if you know who shot that person,
and you don't want to speak up,
but you want your community to be, safe. That's where it starts.
And we all grew up where we know people that knew the game. That it's parts of this game that I don't like. Kids, women,
off limits.
People that are literally civilians, that don't have nothing to do with nothing. Snitching does not have to do with a person that's not in the game. I don't know where that came from. So if you're not in the game, you're not a snitch. That's not how that goes. So it's parts of this game that's very confusing to me, that these new criminals have really twisted where like everybody's
you want to know why?
Like, no, that's not it.
But you want to know why? The game is different because there's babies at 12 years old that had to be grown men.
And they had to provide.
So their mentality is totally different moving forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you talking from the belly of the beast, and they got to get it at that young of an age with no direction. But let me get that gun, let me get this knife, and do what we got to do. So it takes a village. Us, it takes the community, churches, everybody, celebrities. Let's get on out. Let's get on out here and let's make that change together.
Celebrities is a big one because that's what this population.
Because they're influencing.
Absolutely.
Big influence. And I feel like a lot of times that's what our youth is trying to live up to be that. Right. They want to have the latest jewelry or designer. And it's like, y'all can't even work yet. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's just like, y'all worry about the wrong.
And there's a lot of celebrities that's faking
stuff.
it.
Yeah. That's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. Like, because you talk it, but celebrities when they you still home with Mom Dukes, right? You know what I'm saying? Word. Credit score like 300. Come on. Right, stop it. Aluminum foil chain, stop it. Come on, you're doing too much.
What the quarter stuff?
Keep it above.
Turn green.
You know what I mean?
Nah, for real, because you have these kids out here who is robbing Peter to pay Paul to try to live up to that. So I agree. But I think also it boils down just to systematic oppression too. Because it's just like a lot of our communities are messed up due to years and years and years and years ago, right? And it's just like back then you had, they knew that the man of the household is going to keep your household together. Men started being ripped out of those households with the quickness, whether they were getting killed, whether they were put in jail. So then you had women who was trying to be both roles, right? And then you have these kids who was not even growing up with a mom because the mom still got to go out and provide. So then who taking care of the kids? Kids taking care of the kids. So it's systematic oppression that has really took us back a lot, which has really increased crime and everything else that's happening in our community. So it's like, how do we now go and fix what has been messed up over these years? And it's just no one knows. It's a lot. It's a lot.
You took the words out of my mouth. It's a lot.
Though. Like, if we know these things, right? If it's everything you explain, why are we still falling for the same traps?
Because some people are still like, we're intelligent enough to be able to see the problem, but once you're in it, if you grow up really in it, you're stuck in it, you're still in it, your mentality is not going to be as developed as ours. So it's more so like, this is all I know. this is all I know. This is all I see. It's just like, this is my survival. It's just how are you going to tell me what I'm doing isn't right? You get what I'm saying? This is like, when you know better, you do better. If you don't know, how can you do better? And I feel like it's still those people who still don't get it. So it creates that the gap isn't bridged.
No.
It's still a problem. Then when you try to come into that area, it's just like, who are you? Like,
You ever come across, and I say it because I've went through it recently, siblings. You got siblings?
yes.
What's going on? Is this the generation where they just don't want to listen to nothing?
They don't listen for shit.
Like, they just want to figure out things on their own. If I'm trying to prevent you from hitting that speed bump or driving into that tree, the concrete wall, why you don't want to listen? What's going on?
I just feel like everyone wants to, young and old. I have young siblings and old siblings. They all get on my nerves. Okay. I feel like everyone is in a space where we all know it all, right? We all know it all. And it's just more so, I got to do it my way.
Right.
And you got to do it your way. And let's just hope that by you doing it your way, you don't fall on your face.
Isn't that troubling? This is very disturbing.
You see our face.
That's just where I'm at with it.
Right.
I feel like I can't.
You get tired of talking, right?
I can't.
Right.
I can only talk so much
Right.
because I'm still figuring life out too, right?
Right.
So it's just, once you know better, you do better, right? So that's what I'm doing. And if you can't follow suit and see what I've been doing that's been working, then I don't know what to say.
These kids, they have it easy because like we explain things to them, right?
Yeah.
Like you take the time out and have like that hour-long speech on whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
When we were growing up, it was either an ass whooping.
Yeah, it wasn't no
that,
talking.
Right.
Or if the person didn't, there was 3 types. There was the ass whooper.
Yeah.
Usually your father would come through. Went to your father, gets, my mom will fuck you up.
And it wasn't with no belt.
And you scared.
It was
So you're
hands.
Mommy, please don't touch.
That wig was a monster.
Damn.
If your father's not around, you got your mother who will guilt
Yeah.
you to
The
death.
worst.
Like,
Like
you wanna
Undertaker
cut your
choke
veins.
slam on the wall. I'm like, yo, is this shit legal?
I remember one time, like I broke a vase and my mom was just like,
They killed you to
she
death.
didn't
Yeah.
say shit, just like,
That was the scariest
Look
part,
at
wasn't
you
it?
like you are
and you're like,
filth.
just hit me already.
Right, just do
So I could
something.
go back outside.
Just do something.
And then you have like the uncle who will give you like these crazy bomb ass metaphors, and it takes you 2 days to figure it out.
it out.
Right.
And then you're like, oh wow, I get it. Now let me apply what I just learned. These kids, you tell them in plain English,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, you do it your way.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
You be like,
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
They're just so entitled because you even
Yes.
like siblings, you have the nieces and that they're so entitled. And I just blame it on I blame it on social media. I blame it on technology.
Seriously.
And I blame it on us. Because they're products of us.
Yeah.
They're products
Yes.
of us. However you look at it, like we're products of our parents. So I feel like things that we experienced, it was either more so I'm not doing that like my mom, or I'm not doing that like my dad, or I'm gonna be like this because I saw how that was on me. And I feel like over the years we just became too lenient. We became too cool. We became too like, I want to have a real
Buddy,
relationship.
buddy.
We became
Yeah,
too
buddy,
buddy.
Yeah.
So now it's just more so everyone feel like we're all on the same level.
nah.
And we not.
No.
Like,
That's a good point.
You know what?
that's what it is.
I'm big on energy. You ever got that feeling, right? Where you're not chastising, but you're trying to drop a gem, but it's over the phone, and you feel like that motherfucker ain't paying no
He's
attention
not
to you.
listening.
Yo, it's very disturbing.
Right.
I don't do that.
It grinds my gears.
Yeah, because
Oh,
We had a segment grind my gears on the radio.
because you're wasting your time. Like
I feel like
It's
you're investing
disrespectful.
yo,
your
it's
time.
so rude. Like I'm trying to give you the jewels. Like yo, I've been
And you're
there.
not even listening.
Right. You know when somebody not paying you no attention 100% on the phone.
They be like, huh?
Yo,
Or them
Like,
2-word
what
text messages when it's just RD.
what?
Like, nah,
Did you not see that whole paragraph I just wrote?
Right.
don't
And that's
know.
all you coming from it
I
with?
don't even know what RD means.
All right.
Alright.
I learned that from
That's
my
how they
nephew.
say
My nephew
alright.
stayed. Yo,
Alright.
when my nephew stayed here,
They
I was like, "What
it
is
gets
RD?"
shorter
He
and
was like,
shorter. The
"Alright."
words get
I'm like,
shorter and
right.
shorter, okay? It's like,
RD,
what?
All right.
Like, fam,
I just pulled my whole heart out.
Right.
and you like,
RD? Alright.
Just watch the second letter.
or like that 1K.
Cool.
What? Yo, I ain't never texted you.
Yo, that is so annoying. Oh my goodness!
Social media gave everybody. We didn't have platforms. We didn't have a platform to say anything.
No,
you shut up and you listen.
You just do it.
Shut up and you listen.
What grinds my gears is like somebody comes up to you and they're like, "Yo, I need some advice." Right? And you're like, "All right."
That was one of my grind my gears too on the morning show.
What was it? What's up?
It was more so when someone asked me for advice, and you don't take my advice, and I waste my time. And I know we all have, free will to make whatever decision we want, but by you coming to me, and me taking the time out to speak on this advice that I'm suggesting to you, and you just go and do what you want to do anyway, it's like, what was the point of you wasting my time?
You wasted my time.
Right.
My time. This ain't my situation.
That half an hour before, coming into the house, I sat in the car because I didn't want to be interrupted by me giving you this advice.
I'm pouring my energy
into a situation that's not even mine.
Right.
It's not even yours.
Right.
It's not even mine, Fable.
Come on.
That's a good point.
Come on. I told you. That's the part that grind my gears.
I'm telling you.
Me?
I'm Gucci.
Right. I don't got to deal with this shit. Right.
This is your shit. No,
you call me.
Right.
I was minding my business.
The audacity for me.
And then a week later, you're like,
no, I'm not repeating it again.
Huh?
No.
I gave this kid advice. I said, listen, you need to get away from that situation.
It's the audacity for me.
And for real.
A couple years later, he's like, yo, I'm getting, she's taking me to do. And I said, Famo, didn't I tell you?
Didn't I tell you years ago?
Right.
Why am I trying to prevent this?
You know what he said? He was like, yeah, but I had to go through it myself so I could learn.
That's what they say.
No.
That's what they
Famo,
say.
you want to learn how to be broke?
Right.
Because she got all your money now.
It's over.
Her baby's 3.
One of the greatest bars. No, Hove did that.
What?
So hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hove said it. I was raised in a project. Roaches and rats.
Right.
Come on.
Come on.
I can't.
Yeah.
And it's too much.
No, it is.
It's too much.
I tell my kids, yo, I'm giving you the cheat code. Like, I'm giving you the answers to this.
Word.
How old are they?
17, 8, and 4.
Oh, wow. All different.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
But yeah.
I'm not playing.
Yeah.
They fuck up karate gi with some karate slippers at school.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, with the headband.
Wait, how many you have? What's their ages?
I got 3 girls.
Oh, yeah. What's their ages?
10, 6, and 4.
Come on. Oh, so they're good.
Oh yeah, daddy hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're good.
When we play that game,
girls are easier until we become teenagers.
Oh.
And then when we become teenagers, then we gonna run you for your money.
But that's okay.
Boys.
That's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's when we start feeling ourselves. We want to be around y'all. We want to be out in the streets.
Right.
And then right after high school, everything changes.
I'm gonna come back. I'll be like, Raven, I got teenagers now. I need some help. Clear your schedule. We need a little bit to talk. I got you on the drinks.
I got y'all. Oh, no, that's so cute.
But yeah. I'm just curious. Like, this generation, man, it's so annoying. Because I'm like,
they be talking, I just be looking in the air like. When you do that, that's how you know in your head, you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, right.
But you don't want to be rude because it's like, it's your loved one.
Right.
But it's like, and you're just like, I told you this a month ago.
Raven, I conversations off camera with Dre. He's like, yo, I said, everything is right. Don't go left. So you said left. No. Everything is this way. Safety, blah, blah, blah. Got you. Go left. And he be like,
I just like, my eye twitches. I'd be like,
right. Stressed out, son. Word. Damn.
But now they know that if they say something, my eyes twitching, they be like, we're gonna come back and talk to you later.
Yo, if you say something
like this,
yeah, and you start looking at the wall,
yeah,
you gotta breathe it out. You gotta breathe it out.
You have to.
Now I'm just gonna start ignoring people. That's just
what I do now.
Listen,
I do that now.
It's all positive energy.
I'm not a bank.
No,
I'm not a bank.
I know.
I'm a human being.
I like that.
You better check on me like I check on you.
Absolutely.
You better. Hello, how am I doing? How my day was?
Right.
Congratulations, something.
How about that?
Before you just think to ask me for any goddamn
Anything.
thing.
Can I ask you a question? Because I know you like in the world. Why is it always $40?
Oh, they just throwing them up.
Why is it always $40?
$40.
I don't even get a certain number. I just get Ubers and lifts or shoes or just hair or eyelashes. I be getting certain services and stuff that they be needing.
Oh, they come to you particularly.
Yes, and they be like, it's the audacity for me. I get up and work every single day.
Right. But with them, I know she got it. I know you got
And
it.
that's the thing, because if Ray don't get up and hustle and figure it out, I don't have it.
Right.
So it's just like, and did you check to make sure did you check to make sure I still had a job? Did you check to make sure, my bank was still looking good?
Did you check to just say
Did
good
you?
morning?
Hello?
How you doing?
Right.
So I just, they get on my nerves.
Right.
They get on my nerves. It's beyond just the siblings. Like I said, now it's the nieces, the nephews.
Oh,
Just-
yeah.
Yeah, once y'all start having children, it ain't gonna get no better.
Whew. Yeah, that's why I'm still waiting.
Take your time.
I am.
I know that's
I
right.
am.
Ain't gonna get no better.
Or, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's episode 95. I want to take the time to thank Miss Raven Paris for coming out. Your words were so inspiring.
Yes.
Appreciate you so much.
You drop a lot of bombs real quick. Pop, 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 pop.
Right. Back to back to back.
Quick, too. So you better pay attention.
We got to have you back on. Please come back on.
Yes.
Definitely.
No, certainly.
Listen, do you want to give any shout outs? Please shout them all out.
So I want to first start out by shouting out my honey over there in the cut.
My man.
Okay.
Hey. No, seriously, I had to shout out my husband. And also just want to shout out to y'all for
Appreciate
bringing me
you.
on here.
Of course.
It's a vibe. We've been able to, bridge the gap.
Yes.
That's what's so important. And shout out to you. You're listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you take these gems and apply them to your life in whatever type of way that is. And you just learn to be the example you wish you had. Okay? And that's all my shout outs for. Shout out to Jesus for giving me a purpose.
All day,
for
every
giving
day.
me a voice.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
for allowing me to be here and bless the platform.
Amazing.
That's it.
Amazing. Beautiful.
That's so dope.
Dre,
Peace and love.
Triple C.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
All right, my peoples, episode 95. Thank our sister Raven for coming in. It meant everything to this platform, to the world. We love y'all. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
The views and opinions expressed on the Silverback podcast are those of the hosts, producers, and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the federal, state, or local government. This includes, but not exclusive to, the Department of Defense and/or the Baltimore City Police Department.
The Silverback Chronicles podcast with Dre, Big H, and Triple C. Hit the subscribe button, like and comment.